Hi everybody, it's Nell Thames from Mount Vernon, Texas. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and tonight we are going to make a fun fold card. Um, the card was on my blog today, so we're just coming in and adding the video in afterwards. Tell me how you feel about that. Do you want everything together at the same time, or do you like to know what's coming up for the thank you, Pixie. Come here, honey. Um, if do you want to know what's coming up on the video, or do you prefer that I do it ahead of time? So anyway, we are going to make a card, and just like happened, I think it was last week or 2 weeks ago with the turtles. This week I have already. Hi, Mary. Thanks for coming. I have already sent out the card. Well, prepared it to send out. It's sitting over here ready to go out in the mail for my daughter. So David is going to show you a picture of the card, and it is a fun fold. It is a front flap fun fold. Now the background looks a little pinky, but it really is. It's cherry cobbler and mossy meadow, moody mauve, and it is a watercolored magnolia. We're going to use the the Magnolia Mood stamp set, which is coming in. It's available to purchase as an online exclusive, available to purchase on Tuesday, March 5th. Can you believe it's March already? I just can't even believe that. So, there was a discussion on our team chat about where do you keep your dies. Here, whoops, well, they are still here. So here are my dies, and when they're this size, they fit beautifully inside the stamp set, so then I can keep them together, and then I don't forget that I have dies for things, because sometimes I do forget. So just, a hint, take it, leave it, whatever. We're also going to use texture timber. Now, I love a good texture stamp, and this is a good texture stamp. It looks like real wood on the paper, I'm telling you. So as you can see, I've got my blocks prepared with my stamps. So we're also going to use the Time Worn Type 3D embossing folder. I'm actually not going to emboss on with that today. I've already done the embossing. We're also going to use the textured shimmer paper. So very odd. I don't know, I must have gotten this in a product share at some point, and I had never used it, and I don't even think it's all that old, but oh my gosh, it's beautiful. If you saw the photos, I know, Mary, the Christmas tree. Let's go for the Easter tree. Actually, I do know someone that still has their tree up, and it's March, just saying. And it's not you, Mary, I don't think. I don't know for sure. Anyway, so this is really beautiful, and it is very textured. If you saw the photos in my blog, you can actually see the lines of this really pretty fabric. So it's shimmery and it's textury, hence the reason why it is called the texture shimmer paper. And then one other thing we're going to use are the adhesive back sparkle gems. So let's get a move on. I have already done a bunch of, I don't know what I just dropped, but let's hope it wasn't important. Oh, you know what, Mary? Mine comes down the day after Christmas. In fact, I'm not even sure. Did we put up a tree this year? No, we didn't put it up again this year. 2 years in a row, we haven't even put it up. I don't have any kids that come over. We don't have any family that comes over. Very often we are traveling for Christmas. So, all right, so this is cherry cobbler, and I have already scored it at 3 inches. This piece is 7 1/4 this way by 5 1/2 this way, scored at 3 inches. Now before I actually fold it though, and of course I'm going to go the bumpy side in, so I'm going to close it this way, I am going to stamp with cherry cobbler ink and this wood stamp. And actually I'm going to fold first, because then I'll keep it off of the, and we'll put a piece of scratch paper here. There we go. Let's think about this. All right, so we're just going to stamp. I didn't stamp off or anything. I'm going to turn it around. I feel like I only have one hand here for some reason. So, and I'm not really all that concerned about getting it smack up against each other. I'm okay if it's not. I wanted it to look a little varnish. I don't know why, but you know, that was kind of what I was going for. And so, um, and then I'm just turning it so that the knots aren't all in the same place. So that's that. All right. So really just a pretty texture stamp. Gosh, I have the timber embossing folder and I really don't use it that often. So I don't know, I like it. All right, this piece is the hinge. This is, again, cherry cobbler at 1.5 by 4. So I probably can, I believe I got this on here just like this. And since this is a cling stamp, it doesn't need a piercing mat or a mat underneath it. So there we go. So that's all for that stamp for now. Let me clean it off before I forget that I didn't clean it off. Do you have a chamois? Because if you have a chamois, I do like the lights. And actually, we have a pool, and we do have some lights out by the pool that David put up that initially I was kind of like, not sure why we were doing that, but it does add some ambiance. Ambiance is good. Okay, so if you don't have a chamois, I don't know what you would use to clear off your stamp. Actually, I have a stamp cleaner. I have the Stampin' Mist and the Stampin' Scrub, and I like it, but the chamois is, for me, it's a little bit faster. But it does always look dirty, right? It's not dirty, it's just stained. And it's, as long as the water runs clear when you, I really got my hands all inky after I did that. That was a bad idea. Okay, so I stamped the pages, stamped the leaves. So we're gonna stamp, I'm hoping my hands aren't all red because I can't turn this over. Pixie is once again just telling me how much she wants to, oh, I really got my hands. Let me see if I can clear this off a little bit. She's once again telling me how much she wants to go live with you, Mary. She's like, Mary needs me. Mary's injured. She needs me. Pixie's she thinks she's a healer. So, by the way, if you're a YouTube fan instead of a Facebook fan, I believe we are live on both YouTube and Facebook today. So that's really exciting for us because every single time we try to go live on YouTube, it didn't work.
And you do have a viewer on YouTube.
Well, I think it's me.
No, it just incremented.
Oh, good. Oh, well, hello to you on Facebook or on
YouTube.
On YouTube, yeah. So this is just from the Magnolia Mood Bundle. Yes, please ask Finn. Pixie is nice and she's small and she sheds a lot. So, maybe that's what he needs to know. And she doesn't eat a lot, in case you cared. But Pixie's also David's dog, so he probably won't let her go. So I'm not trying to do this in any particular way. I'm just stamping leaves to stamp leaves because they're pretty. And I don't know if you can see the shimmeriness, but it's quite lovely and fun. There we go. Although, Mary, I don't know how she'd do around Katie, so just saying. Okay, so that's that. That's just, a nice little pretty at the end. This is also a chamois. This is, Mary, this is your chamois, or something similar to yours. That you, I like it because it's thinner. That's my sales pitch. Yeah, that's it. That's my sales pitch. Well, Maybe I don't actually want to get rid of her. I only want to get rid of her when she whines while I'm trying to talk, which is almost all the time. I guess I have decided that it is not necessarily that she's whining only during lives. She is whining pretty much when I talk. That's just how it is. So if you are on YouTube, if you would say hello to me, I would love to know you're there. And if you're on Facebook, and Mary's on Facebook, if you're on Facebook, say hello there too. I really like to know that people are watching. It's fun to have people to talk to. So that was just the shimmer paper, and of course my favorite liquid glue that, I know not everyone's a fan, but I'm a fan. And I pretty much think I say that every time. So this is my sentiment, just a note to let you know that you are loved. Who doesn't, who wouldn't want that? My daughter, oh yeah. Okay, so Pixie, he says no. That's okay. We gave her a turkey tendon. She's left us now. She doesn't care about us. She's like, I'm done with you. So I don't know what it is lately, though. I have found that I stamp better. And this is kind of tight, just so you know. This is kind of tight in terms of the amount of space that's left here. I probably could have cut it down just a little bit, but those were the dimensions I was using. So, sorry, I'm holding my mouth just right and trying not to talk as I do that. See, it was a little tight. So, but because I've already put the the other shimmer stuff up, yes, and that's what I was hoping. David had instructions when she starts whining, please give her a turkey tendon. Even though she's already had her treat for today, she knows though that she is going to get a turkey tendon. She's going to get a treat when she misbehaves, probably creating a monster. Perhaps that's why she's already a problem. Okay, so this hinge, I had already scored this at 1 inch, and I am going to adhere it in about the middle, and I'm going to adhere it on the underside. And I did use Stampin' Seal. I can't remember why, but you know what? It sounded like a good thing because I use too much. I use liquid glue all the time. So why not this is Seal Plus actually. Why not give Seal Plus its due? Because every so often you got to use something new, right? And this doesn't have to be, I mean, I tried to get it in the middle, but I wasn't going to measure it. So there we go. That's that.
Okay, what's the difference between Seal Plus and Stampin' Seal?
The Seal Plus is stronger.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I'm so proud of my husband. He knows what DSP is. When I say DSP, he knows what I'm talking about. I mean, that's awesome. Because he clearly pays attention. I asked him, I was showing him some cards that I saw on Pinterest, and I asked him, well, do you like these manly cards, or does it matter to you what I put on it? He said, it doesn't matter. as long as you make them, I don't care what they don't have to, because the manly cards were very plain. He said he liked all the stuff I put on it. Although I am not nearly I do not put nearly as much on my cards as some people do. Mary is so much better at it than I. Okay, so now I put liquid glue on the back of this, and now I've sealed it here, so that just makes sure that the back of the hinge is not seen. And then we're going to, you know what, I'm going to do I'm going to watercolor because it needs a little bit of time to dry. And there it is. Now I'm using Memento Black because that's the only black I had. I believe that StazOn would be a better choice, but I didn't care necessarily if it got a little dark. That didn't bother me, and I didn't have much trouble with it like really smearing or getting all black and icky. So Mary, I saw your trick on this yesterday. I probably should try it. Okay, here we go. So this is just a scrap of the watercolor paper. And so I am just going to I have a little, there it is. I have a little, I don't know what this is called. I'm going to call it a squisher, but that is probably not the best name for it. It's a air hockey puck. That is another option. Okay, so we're going to do this. Now, we're going to do the ink 2 ways. We're going to start with green, and I'm going to put 1 drop from a refill bottle on my D block, because D blocks are like the Superman of stamping blocks, and they can do everything. And then I have a water painter, and this is the one that has the thinnest tip. I'm pretty sure it does. And I'm going to put 1 drop of water. I'm squeezing at the push mark. Sure I am. There we go. I'm going to put 1 drop of water on the block. And then I'm going to bring the ink to the water. The ink to the water. I didn't actually want to connect them, but that's okay. It'll be fine. We'll go over here. Stampendous. You are right. All right. And so, oh no, she's back. She wants more food. See, I told you we created a monster. Ooh, this is really wet. We're going to have to pull some of this. I don't know why I got it so wet. I might have to pull out another. So I'm just coloring the leaves. I'm not really trying to be extra special fancy about it. But when I'm ready for, wow, that is really wet today. I don't know what I did different. Okay. So So we're pulling some of our watercolor off of this leaf over here because it is very juicy. And I don't see too much running of the black. I know that I could have done this in, like, I could have stamped it in the Moody Mauve and then use the watercolor pen to make it, oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, guys. Keep saying one. Yeah, no kidding, right? I did not train my dogs with the bells at the door because I feel like I get up 100 times anyway, and I really did not need a dog telling me to get over here and let me out. I wanted to decide myself. Okay, so that was I'm going to get rid of this green because I'm pretty sure I'm done with it. That's one way to do it. I know that many people like to press their ink pad into the top or bottom, depending on which way you look at this. I think it's the top. Well, I think it's the bottom. Anyway, I'm not terribly fond of that. So another way to do it is just to stamp a little bit of ink. That's a lot of ink. I don't use this color very often. This is Moody Mauve. I don't use it very often, so I'm going to try to use a smaller drop of water here and keep it even further from the, I don't know why I shook that, because it's not like liquid glue and I'm trying to get the water down. It's full. This is what happens to me. Dun, 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 dun. Oh, there we go. We're singing in the water drop here. Come on now. You were there. I saw you. There we go. All right. And once again, I'm going to draw the ink into the water. And clearly I have plenty of ink on here. And so I am going to just do the same thing, just apply watercolor to the petals. And when I go over it the first time, I'm going to just add color. I'm not worried about shading. I'm not worried about, I am worried about saying too many times. Apologize for that. I'm working on it. Mary, I'm going to need a crash course in how not to say So Stampin' Up! Has done a beautiful job of making this stamp set. It has plenty of areas where the shading it's clearly darker. I am making the center pink. I don't actually know what that color that's in. In fact, I don't actually know what color the Magnolia leaves should be, but because I was doing a color challenge, they're Moody Mauve. I think they're more white, but I also think they come in pink and white. And there may be another color involved in that. I don't know. I know that when I met my mother-in-law, when David and I were already married by the time I met her, and she was a wonderful woman. She unfortunately was not around much once we moved to Texas. She died shortly after we moved here. But she was, so now I'm just going to add a little bit more Moody Mauve to the edges and the areas where there is darkness. But again, I don't want it to be too dark because I don't want to be too wet actually because of the ink that I used. Anyway, so every time we would go outside and I would see a tree, I would say, oh, that's a beautiful tree, because it would always have some pretty colored flower on it. And I would say, what is that? And she'd say, oh my gosh, I can't remember. What is it now?
Crepe myrtle.
Oh yeah, crepe myrtle. E-color. We have one of those. We have one just for Jessie, actually, not for Pixie. Yeah, so she'd tell me it was a crepe myrtle every single time I asked what tree it was. Crepe myrtle, crepe myrtle. So after she died, I told David we needed to put a crepe myrtle up in our yard just for her. Anyway. But the reason I say that is because they came in 3 different colors and I got confused. What do you mean it's a crepe myrtle? I thought they were all purple or pink or white. Okay, so that is that for this piece. I don't want it really fancy. I'm not great at it. I have heard that leaving a little bit of white is good, especially in something like this where you know what I didn't do? I did not get all fancy over here. Hold on a second. Let me put that back. There we go. I did not get all fancy over here. I just put a little bit of extra pink on some of this darkness here. Do you ever say that you're not an artist if you're a, I saw a, what's it called? Video the other day by another Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and she was saying that if you say you're not an artist, I'm going to tell you that you are, right? Okay, so those are your two options. One is that with the ink drop, and then the other one is just adding a little bit of ink. That was probably a little bit much, but adding a little bit of ink to a D block and adding water that way. And I feel like that's a little, it's not cleaner, but I just don't like that ink in the top of my stamp pad. So I don't know why. It just seems like I'm going to leave this over here for just a minute, and we're going to just put this together. So this is 3x3. This is Mossy Meadow. This is upside down, and it is, no, there we go. Now it's not upside down. It's really kind of gibberish anyway, but I do see some letters. I want to make sure that at least some of the letters I'm seeing are right side up. This is the Time Worn Type, and I've already embossed it, and this is Moody Mauve, of course, and so I'm just going to put some I'm just going to put some glue on here and put it on here. All right, and then I love this grid paper because I can actually measure and say that I put, that I put 3/4 of an inch. That's what I said on my blog. So I'm gonna, it's a lot, but I don't want it to be hanging over the edge over there. So, Stampin' Seal again. I'm not sure why I felt the need to use Stampin' Seal on that particular part, but I feel I don't need it to, I didn't feel like I needed some drying time like I do with the, with the liquid glue. All right, I'm gonna get out my heat gun just to dry this a little bit, and we can talk amongst ourselves as we dry this out, because we are just about done. Whoops. Yeah, actually, that's level 2. I didn't actually want it that warm. I'm pretty sure this is dry. Yes, it's dry. I probably shouldn't have touched it that way since my hands are all red with cherry cobbler. I'm going to have cherry cobbler hands forever now. Okay, I am going to take my die and line it up as such. Well, I'm working on it. There we go. And then I'm going to use this little circle. And I'm going to die cut. I'm going to use the large, the Stampin' and cut and emboss, the big machine. And I'm just going to cut the die. Talk amongst yourselves.
We're going to die, cut the thing. Die, cut the thing.
The thing. It's a Magnolia. All right. I didn't check this. These are dollar store circle sticky notes, and I did not check them for non-stickiness. Okay. All right. That part is done. We're going to use some half dimensionals. Maybe not. That's not the right one. Here we go. And I'm just going to put the dimensionals on the back side. This is really for a, first of all, I think there's a little magic in the hinge. I don't know why, but I feel like, where's the hinge? That's how I would have been if I first saw this card. So I don't know why I'm putting so many Stampin' Dimensionals. We need, apparently, I think I might need a Stampin' Dimensional intervention here. I have found myself putting a zillion. This is more than I put on a full front of a card. I am all about it today. So would you put ribbon under here? I thought about it, and sometimes I feel like that is I can't decide. I have realized that I'm not using that much ribbon. And so there's that. So I'm wondering, where am I missing the opportunities to put ribbon? I don't know. So if you are more of a decorator or embellisher than I, feel free to add more ribbon. I think I'm kind of, my style is kind of plain. Oh, I won't say plain. I'm going to say clean and simple. Sort of. This is maybe not clean and simple. But I don't layer a ton. All right, I think that's it. Look at that. Okay, that's the card part. Now we're just going to finish off the envelope. And the envelope is pretty much the same as we've done before. I'm going to use crumb cake. Yeah, that's true. Only half the dimensionals. All right, I'm going to use crumb cake because I like it and I feel like I want it. And this is not long enough to go all the way across. On the top, at least. I feel like I got it all the way. There we go. It's just because it's wider there. All right. And last but not least, and we are going to get you out in 30 minutes, Mary. 30 minutes. Yes, that is, and so that's where I am wondering, maybe I should try it more often, just because I feel like I get into, not a rut, but I need to break out of my shell a little bit. This is Moody Mauve. I'm going to stamp off once because on the original, I felt like it did get a little bit dark. My daughter will think it's lovely, but for, And then I did nothing else to the front. So that is it. We have made it in under half an hour. The only thing I did before you came was cut. I didn't even watercolor. So anyway, so that is it. That's it for this week. I have some really fun cards coming up this week. We are doing for the Happy Inking Thursday blog hop. We are doing a color challenge, and my card is ready. It's already done. It's an Easter card. And I also have a card with the same colors, Pixie honey, with the same colors using the Cutest Cows bundle. So look forward to those on Tuesday and Thursday. And I will see you all next Sunday. Thank you very much for coming. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe and hit that notification button so you get a notification every time I go live. And if you're on Facebook, there's no notification button, so I'll see y'all on Sunday, the 10th at 6 p.m. Central Time. Ooh, don't forget that's the Spring Ahead Day. Ugh. All right, thank you all for coming. I'll see you next week.